Viewers, what was warned against is slowly but inexorably coming to pass. The signs were literally on the walls for all to read. This university, the progressive AMU, Aligarh Muslim University, gave a podium to Jinnah by hanging up his photograph in the sanctum sanctorum of learning, its library. It gave a platform to Sharjeel Imam. It shed tears for an Islamist terrorist killed by our forces. And now, viewers, in the ultimate act of hardline assertion, the students of the university have resorted to bullying a young colleague for standing up for the Modi government's move to pass a law that gives refuge to persecuted minorities fleeing bigotry in Pakistan. She made the mistake, viewers, of taking a stand against Shaheen Bagh and its agitators. She made the mistake of calling out the duplicity, the hypocrisy, and quite frankly, the lies of certain individuals who began to tell people, specifically minorities in our countries, especially the Muslims, that the CAA was going to leave them without a home. Yes, viewers. But this woman, student of AMU, found out much to her horror that free speech, certainly within the bounds of reason, is not allowed in the Aligarh Muslim University. She receives threats, and the threats were very pointed, that we will put you into a brass hijab. A police complaint has been lodged by the girl against fellow AMU students. The complainant alleges she was harassed for supporting CAA NRC legislation. The police registered a case against the AMU student for the hijab threat. The complainant is seeking the arrest of the accused, citing now a threat to life. She says, not only was I abused using the vilest terminology, sexually aggressive terminology, but also she was intimidated. Now, here, viewers, is her letter. And one would have thought that the AMU administration would have taken a very, very dim view of the behavior of some of those students and a large number of others who let this harassment go unchallenged. Now, universities, viewers, are petri dishes for learning, for dissenting within the bounds of the Constitution. And this young female student certainly did not cross any constitutional lines. Zero. Yet, she was victimized by a radical mindset that, in her words, viewers, wanted to silence her. Now, I want to, viewers, open this out tonight, because certain questions must be asked of those who will perhaps condone this kind of behavior, and others who think that the writing was not on the wall. This slow but inexorable sinking of AMU into the mire of a very, very Manichaean Islamist point of view was quite apparent. And I want to ask the question first of Dr. Anand Ranganathan. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, an individual takes a position on a subject of national importance,
light, no, contra,
speaks out against the mindset we saw at Shaheen Bagh, questions it intelligently, but is subjected to, and you know what I'm talking about here, and you can perhaps even see the language and the threats. What does this tell you?
Yeah, good evening, Rahul. You're absolutely right. This is an abhorrent incident. But, I'm not surprised by the absence of outrage. Extremism and fundamentalism in AMU has long been supported and cushioned by those who belong to the same religious or intellectual ideology. We've seen how in the last 6 years, these same Ganga Jamna activists have returned their awards and cried emergency and intolerance. But when their group indulges in the same, they crawl back quietly from where they emerge. And increasingly, they are emerging from our universities. A place of learning where only one kind of view is welcome is not a university but a conformity. And AMU is in danger of turning into one, if it hasn't already. Remember how it continues its minority status despite it violating the constitution as ruled by the Supreme Court and the Allahabad High Court. Remember when their so-called progressive VC banned women from wearing t-shirts and jeans and visiting MA library back in 2018? Or how in 2018 AMU erupted and FIRs were registered when some students paraphrased an Islamic slogan. From there to violent activism and chanting of Tera Mera Rishta Kya, La ilaha illallah, and Hindutva ki kabar khudegi AMU ki chhati par, and we Muslims can destroy any country, and other bigoted Hindu-phobic slogans has been a very short journey. And as for its solidarity with Dalits, here is AMU's own 2016 data. Total students 31,513, SC/STs 451, just 1.4%. Total teachers 1,199, SC/STs 3.25%. Just 3 teachers in the whole of AMU or SC/STs. 3. You keep on decreasing diversity and soon you turn into a tribe, which is where conformity stems from. And what stems from conformity? Selectivity, airbrushing of history, eulogizing of Jinnah and Tipu and Aurangzeb, wiping out the fact that the AMU founder was the first true proponent of the two-nation theory. Quote, Hindus and Muslims are two antagonistic races. 1857 revolt was an act of haramzadagi. I hope the British rule over us forever. We do not want to become subjects of the Hindus, unquote. Are his views known to AMU students? Instead, they have become dog whistles. But know this, Rahul, if you don't condemn all dog whistles, you are the one whistling. You are the shepherd leading your sheep to the slaughterhouse.
Let me ask Abbas Hafiz straightforward question tonight. Abbas Hafiz, in December 2019, Hindutva ki kabar khudegi AMU ki dharti par. The grave of Hindutva will be dug in AMU. That was defended as free speech. We will cut off Northeast from the rest of India. January 2020, at the height of the anti-CA agitation, by Sharjeel Imam, these words, that was also defended as free speech. Muslims can destroy anything if they wish to do. Faisal Hassan, ex-AMU student, February 2020, speaking from within the university, was also defended by a group of individuals as free speech. Then why doesn't this lady have a right to free speech? It doesn't matter if she's a Hindu, sir. This is not about her religion. It's about her mind, and it is about her right to express a point of view in a democratic country. Why should she be impugned with the kind of words that I don't want to repeat and dignify, but there are there on our screens? Why, sir?
Rahulji, first of all, I don't support such an ideology and I don't support such statements. In my opinion, the law should be strict, and the current government should come out with a strict law, with a more strict law and with a more strict punishment for all the hate speeches.
So then tell me, does Sharjeel Imam know on that point? No, since you just stop there. Just stop there.
I'm not Sharjeel Imam.
No, 1 second. Allow me, sir. Please allow me. Allow me to ask my follow-up question.
You aren't allowing me to complete. I was listening to you from last 10 minutes, Rahul. Let me complete my sentence. Let me complete my statement. Another thing, if we'll start debating all such things, it's very good. You should come out with all these things, and they should be punished, and they should be behind the bars as soon as possible. There should be high-level probe, and everybody should be behind the bar, whoever is involved in this. But we have seen many people like Ragini Tiwari, kaat dalo, maar dalo, Delhi dangon ke andar video viral ho gaya, unki charge sheet mein naam tak nahi aaya. So these things should be very much tackled with a lots of strictness. And these things shouldn't be tolerated across the religious lines. Who is supporting all these goons? Anybody like them? I don't support them, and there should be a strict punishment.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Since you made your position clear, I'm glad you did. Sharjeel Imam said, we will cut off Northeast from the rest of India. Others were heard chanting, Hindutva ki kabar khudegi, AMU ki dharti par. Do you think these are statements that shouldn't be punished?
Obviously, what was I saying a minute before? These statements should be punished across the religious line. Punish Ragini Tiwari also,
okay.
Punish Kapil Mishra also, punish Sharjeel Imam also, punish Umar Khalid also.
So you believe? So let me ask you then, very clearly, without resorting to one second, sir, please.
So selective. No,
see, there you go.
Selective?
I am talking about 1 second, an unconditional condemnation. Let's stick to that first.
I condemn.
अरे मेरी बात तो सुनिए. 2 मिनट तो सुनिए सर. मैंने आपको तंग नहीं किया, मैंने आपको इम्प्यून नहीं किया, मैंने आपको गाली नहीं दी. बात तो सुन लीजिए. मैं ये आपको कह रहा हूं साहब कि why are we always looking to conjunct things? Let's look at the statement in isolation. Fine, the Raginis of the world that you claim have gone out there and said all sorts of things. Punish them. Who's stopping anybody from doing it?
No, they aren't punishing them. That's the problem.
One second. We'll come to that. We'll come to that. But that's okay. One second. Sir, no one is stopping anybody from going and filing an FIR. No one is stopping anybody from
we'll discuss that
calling for a probe.
We'll discuss that.
No one is stopping. No, I'll tell you the problem here. Because when a case was stalled against an individual called Umar Khalid and Kanhaiya Kumar and at least eight others, a large number of you people came out and said, it's good because it's a witch hunt. Isn't it a fact? Prosecution sanction when it was not given. You people said that this is an act of virtue, of real secularism. Is it not a fact, sir? Yes, no.
Well, I have made my point very much clear. I condemn such an act. Then how can you school me?
No, I'm asking you about Umar Khalid. I'm asking you about these people. I am not scolding you, sir. Please understand. The moment you get into drawing what is known as a conjunction, we get into a problem.
What my point is, I think you aren't getting my point. I'm saying there should be more strict law. The law should be strict,
more strict
and
law.
more, and people should be punished. Who's
MC Abbas, all these people should be punished. The Sharjeel Imam should be punished, and anyone who spoke up in defense of these individuals, in defense of these
religious lines.
Yes, all of them should be punished.
There shouldn't be any biasness. That's
okay. Let me bring in MC Abbas.
A more glorified nation.
Good. Okay. I'm glad. So it's an evolved position. Let's hope that everyone else does. There is also an honorary secretary from AMU, Huzaifa Amir Saab. I'll come to him. Give me 30 seconds.
He's a better person to speak on.
1 minute. MC Abbas Saab. Aap bataiye, and I want to ask you, where are those who defended Shaheen Bagh organizers, Sharjeel Imam's call for cutting off Northeast in the AMU campus as free speech? Where is that lobby today, sir? Why aren't they speaking up? Why aren't they writing editorials, handing back their awards? Where is this group of people? Why do they always stay silent? Why does it take times now to bring out a story and then ask a question almost like a plea of individuals like Abbas, Hafiz for them to say we reject it? Where is the spontaneous outrage?
Rahul Sahab, the spontaneous outrage, what we just saw happening with the girl, it is undoubtedly, like you said, unconditionally condemnable by every individual. I am sure there is no one who encourages this, Even if they do, they must be condemned. The next point I'd like to bring to your notice is, Rahul Saab, which is very personal to me. Let me tell you, time and again I come on your show, but on the comment section on Twitter, I get the choicest abuses on me, my family, my mother and sister by Twitter handles called I love Modi, my dear Modi, I stand with Modi. What are we supposed to do with those? Should we condemn
Abbas,
those as well?
Do you know what
Should
kind of... No, मैं आपको बताता हूँ. Twitter handle... नहीं, आप Twitter handle की बात कर रहे हैं. आपको पता है मेरे को क्या ऐसी गाली पड़ती है? मैं आपको अगर बोलना शुरू करूँ ना, आप अपना मुंह छुपा लेंगे. So one second. Don't try to play victim here, okay? And I'm quite sure, MC Abbas, that even in your heart of hearts, you say those loathsome words that are directed towards me. Just that you don't wear them on your sleeves. At least you give me that much mercy. But let me tell you, MC Abbas, आप मन में मुझे भी गाली देते होंगे, मुझे पता है. मगर मैं आपको नहीं, मैं खुदा से
आप तो दोस्त है.
अरे कहने की बात है. मगर देखिए, I'm only saying कि भाई साहब वो कहाँ है वो spontaneous outrage? वो कहाँ पर है जो लोग कहते हैं कि भाई इनके साथ केस फाइल करो? This lady was driven, sir, was driven to desperation. She writes to the superintendent of police out of desperation, not because the AMU stood up for her. No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. She was driven to desperation. That's why I'm asking.
बिल्कुल राहुल साहब, आपकी बात लाजिम है, आपकी बात बिल्कुल जायज है. इन लोगों को जेल में भर्ती करना चाहिए, लेकिन उन लोगों को
हिपोक्रेसी है आप लोगों की.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी फ्रॉम द
एक
आरएसएस
thought process का that there is a there is deep hypocrisy.
They want to target Jawaharlal Nehru University, Aligarh Muslim University. इनके सबसे बड़े दुश्मन है educational institutions, educational universities.
Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi.
Educated is to become an anti-national.
Rahul.
One second.
Rahul, I want to come in.
Yeah, Dr. Trivedi.
As far as AMU is concerned, I would just like to remind, in 1948, the first education minister of India, Maulana Asad, was passing to AMU, Aligarh, and in the Aligarh railway station, AMU student union leaders have gone, और उन्होंने उठाकर उनके चेहरे के ऊपर कीचड़ मल दिया. And this is the word of मौलाना आजाद कि देश का पार्टीशन हुआ, एक जलजले के साथ तमाम गंदगी बहा ले गया, मगर कुछ गड्ढों में बची रह गई जिसमें से बदबू आ रही है. तुम लोग उनमें से. This is not word. This is not the word of.
That was before the partition. The people who pro partition in AMU, Sudhanshu ji, they have.
What I want to let me complete my sentence, sir. Let me complete my submission. Then whatever you want, you can say.
Let him finish. You can respond to him.
Let me complete my sentence. The unfortunate event was Aligarh Muslim University is one of the oldest in the country. After Bombay, Calcutta and Madras and Allahabad, it was the Aligarh.
92 में AMU स्टूडेंट यूनियन का क्या रोल रहा है उसको आपने नहीं इसको पढ़ा आपने इसको जाना
कर रहे हैं आप बीच में आप डिस्टर्बेंस कर रहे हैं अपने टर्न पे बोलिए ज्यादा ठीक रहेगा. सिविलाइज्ड डिबेट होती है सबको ठीक लगता है. एंड इन द एंटायर इस्लामिक वर्ल्ड दिस इज द ओल्डेस्ट यूनिवर्सिटी. बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली the university became the epicenter of Pakistan, and the first Prime Minister of Pakistan, Liaquat Ali, came from Aligarh Muslim University. And the further unfortunate was, after independence, the successive governments tried to nurture the fundamentalist element in the AMU rather than nurturing the academic instrument.
I'd like to respond.
That's why the scientist Abul Kalam came from South, not from AMU. And the fundamentalists came from AMU. And the second point I want to say on this issue, where are those feminists? Where are those progressive feminists? अरे भाई वो जितनी भी महिला अधिकार की बातें करने वाली लोग कहाँ हैं? जब एक लड़की से कहा जा रहा तुम्हें फोर्सिबली हिजाब पहना देंगे, जब स्कर्ट पहनने की बात आती है तो वो लोग
सवाल ये है,
बट वेदर ऑन द इशू ऑफ
हुज़ैफा आमिर साहब, सवाल ये है, आप चुप क्यों थे? AMU administration चुप क्यों रहा? You are the honorary secretary of AMU. Why didn't you speak up? बोलिए साहब.
नेटवर्क इशू हो रहा है क्या कुछ?
नेटवर्क इशू कर रहे हैं. मेरी आवाज आ रही है? कैन यू हियर मी?
ऑन ऑफ करिए, नेट बंद हो गया.
Can you hear me? Okay, he can't hear me. Let me bring in Dr. Anand Ranganathan. Yes, first, 1 second. First, Abbas Hafiz wants to respond. Yes, Abbas Hafiz, yes, go ahead.
3 points I have. Sudhanshu ji must correct them. First, this the incident he quoted, he was very much right, but that was during the time of partition. The partitions movement was going on there, and that wasn't after partition, first of all. The people who were pro-partition, they have done that, they have pushed him, like his turban was also fell off. And that wasn't post-partition. Another thing, this is not the oldest university. Al-Azhar is the oldest Islamic university. Now, another thing which I want to make, one submission over here, and you should correct it. Liaquat Ali's party, you people were in power with them. You people shared power in Bengal with them. The Muslim League, Jansangh and Muslim League was in power. So you people were together at that time also. You should make this submission as well.
No, on this issue, I would like to say, those who used to say that those elements which were in pro-partition in Aligarh has shifted to Pakistan, it's totally wrong.
But I am
how many
happy
seats
that you
Muslim
have
League won?
quoted Maulana Azad. He has been my idol from always.
74
and the Indian
Muslim seats were there, and
represent
UP
his
and 71 they won. Just one sentence. मोहम्मद अली जिन्ना कहां से चुन के आए थे बताइए कॉन्स्टिट्यूंट असेंबली में?
मोहम्मद अली जिन्ना की पार्टी के साथ आपने क्यों आपके श्यामा प्रसाद मुखर्जी जी ने क्यों बंगाल में सरकार बनाई थी? क्या आपको मालूम है वित्तमंत्री शौकत अली थे आपके? क्या आपको मालूम है वहां पर बंगाल के अंदर आप सत्ता बना के आए थे, उनसे सरकार बना के आए थे? गवर्नमेंट का बहिष्कार करके मैं यहाँ पोल खोलूं आपकी पोल खोलो.
Okay, just 1 second. Just hold your horses. Gentlemen, 1 second. Gentlemen, let me just come in here. We are going down. No, 1 second. Gentlemen, look, we can get into the historical nuance. We can get into the right reading of history, the interpretations, all of that. That's not the issue here. The issue is...
My submission was those elements which were with Jinnah are still today. Because Jinnah was elected from Mumbai, not from Karachi.
Okay. Doctor, 1 second. Gentlemen, please. Gentlemen, 1 second. Let me bring in Doctor. Let's keep this civil. Gentlemen, let's keep this civil, please. Okay, 1 second. Let's hold our horses. 30 seconds. Let's take a deep breath. 1 second. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, you wanted to come in. M.R. Venkatesh is also waiting to have his say. Yes, Doctor.
Yes, Rahul, you know, there are too many Abbases on your panel tonight. As Nishe said, you stare at an Abbas and an Abbas stare backs at you. So now there are two Abbases staring, but my question is to the first Abbas, if you don't mind, if the thinner Abbas, if I may say so. You know, it's all very well for him to condemn the fundamentalist, that AMU student, but yet again we are falling into this trap of, Rahul, into this trap of, you know, snaring the fundamentalist and sparing the fundamental. So this, my simple question to the thinner Abbas, if you don't mind. Sir, you have condemned that AMU student who was a fundamentalist, you've condemned him. But my simple question to you is the following. What if a Muslim tomorrow says this? Those who disbelieve in our verses, we will drive them into a fire. Every time their skins are roasted through, we will replace them with other skins, so they may taste the punishment. Would you condemn this?
I understand
yes
where
or no?
You're taking this debate to.
Yes or no?
I understand where you're taking this debate.
What if a Muslim says this? Would you condemn it?
First of all, I
say
don't entertain.
If you have the courage, say it.
I'm a very liberal guy. You can't trap me in this thing. And I agree.
There you go, Rahul. It is so easy to catch them. What if a Muslim says those who disbelieve in our verses, we will drive them into a fire?
He's agreeing with you.
Do you condemn?
He says he agrees with you.
Would you condemn that Muslim?
He says he agrees with you.
You, what are you saying? What are you saying, yeah?
No, I want to hear it from him, Rahul. Rahul, I want to hear it from him. Does he condemn if such a statement was made?
If anybody will make this statement,
Rahul, he won't condemn it because he knows.
I will be the first one to stand against that person.
He'll be the first one, he says. First one to stand against. He's progressive. He doesn't certainly believe.
To trap me over there?
Okay, so
if
now,
I say anything
Rahul,
the hardliner Hindus, then I'm against the hardliner Muslims.
Now let me disclose. Now please, Abbas, 1 second. Rahul, just 10 seconds. Now let me.
The Quran has to be understood from a learned man and not from anybody like moving on here and there.
So you have understood it differently. But 1.8 billion Muslims who believe in every word of the Quran have understood it differently.
Don't try to trap me. I won't come in your trap.
Okay, look, we are speaking
It is not a question of trapping. It is a
we are
question of
speaking to a very well-informed,
hypocrisy.
progressive Abbas
That
Hafiz.
you are condemning.
Okay, the point is, let me come back to the point. Very quickly, let me,
you are sparing
MR Venkatesh, look, let me just come back to the main point. The main point, look, these kind of debates will always excite a great deal of opinion. And some of it will grate viewers, some of it will pass. But let me ask MR Venkatesh very simply this. You see, what bothers me is that this young lady whose name we cannot take and whose identity we cannot reveal was forced to write to the senior superintendent of police saying that in the university, there is no one standing up for me, which suggests that there was widespread acceptance of this, a very rancid bullying culture, which stems from a particular mindset. MR Venkatesh.
Rahul, as you very rightly said, this is not about what Jinnah said or Asad did 70 years back. This is right now on a freedom of expression of a young student studying in a central university funded by your taxes and my taxes. So let us be very clear that what is the type of respect and how we deal with women in public spaces reflects on our civilization and our culture. And this is what this Aligarh Muslim University is all about. Shutting off people who don't conform to the university's political ideology. I think we rather shut it out, withdraw all our funds, and I think Mr. Trivedi is here. I think he will also do a great justice to go back and look at Article 29 and 30 of the Constitution, which has ensured that we have spawned this type of nonsense. Because this type of nonsense is what is being legitimized, because the Constitution allows this type of nonsense to come in, and this type of nonsense is being funded by your taxes and my taxes. So let us be very clear that the time for looking at the minority institutions, the so-called minority institutions, which act nothing but mouthpieces for foreign and anti-national forces, which creates a laboratory for all these type of people to come out in the later stages of their life.
No, but MR Venkatesh, this is not true. This is not true of every university.
You're painting everybody.
Okay, this is your opinion. Very clearly your opinion. This is your... Look, I'm not going to censure anyone's opinion here.
The same color.
Let me hear it out.
Let me bring one incident.
Let him finish. Mr. Hafiz, let him finish. Let him finish. Let him finish. Mr. Hafiz, give him the time. Let him finish. Let him finish. Let him finish. Give him the time. Let him finish.
Don't be intolerant. Listen to me. The problem stems not with the interpretation of Islam, but the interpretation of Islam as given by the Tablighi school, interpretation given by the Deobandi school, which are considered to be the authentic one. And let this gentleman...
Okay, first of all, let's not confuse. Let's not confuse issues here.
Let me respond.
No, one second. We can't speak in generalizations. But the fact of the matter is, no, we can't speak in generalizations. One second, MR Venkatesh. Look, you're a passionate person. Okay, one second. There is a problem. 1 minute. There is a problem in every religion. There are individuals who will twist the doctrines, who will twist the way. No, 1 second. Please.
The Deobandi and Tablighi are the authentic interpreters.
Okay, one second.
That is the problem. Now let us let this gentleman say that Tablighi and Deobandi are bullshit.
They are like RSS. They are like Vishwa Hindu.
Calm down, sir. Let's not. MR Venkatesh, calm down. Let us not get all. Let's not froth. Relax. Calm down. Let us not froth at the mouth. 1 second. Calm down, please. Look. 1 second. Just relax. Take a deep breath. I want to bring in Atikur Rahman, who is a scholar. Islamic scholar. Let's bring him in on this.
Let me respond.
1 second, Abbas Saab, 1 second, please. 1 second. Double dose of Abbas today. 1 second. Let Atikur Rahman also come in. We've lost the AMU honorary secretary because there's a problem with his phone. But 1 second. Let me come in. Let me just come in and bring in Atikur Rahman Saab. Atikur Rahman Saab, the problem here is that there seems to be a consensus that allowed for the bullying of this student. Now that is what worries. Why isn't it that passionate voices stood up like they do in JNU against ABPP? Why didn't in AMU passionate voices stand up against those that belong to obviously a very regressive school or mindset that bullied this child, this student, this youth? Why? Why didn't it happen?
Rahul, I believe we do not know the credentials of these people who are threatening this young lady. Besides, whatever MR said before me exposes, the mindset of the people like MR, the BJP and the Sangh element who are since the past, 6 years after AMU. They have to decide whether they want a ban on the entire AMU.
Let him speak. Let him speak. No, MR Venkatesh, let him speak first, please. I'll give you time. You can rebut him. Let him speak. Let him speak.
See the intolerance.
Yeah.
See the intolerance on their face, Rahul. Now, this intolerant behavior will kill the student community which wants to safeguard the Constitution of India. Time and again, AMU, Jamia, JNU.
Okay, so let me ask you, Atikur Rahman, one small question. You're talking about the institutions of this country. Tell me, when certain students get up, no, 1 second. When certain students stand up and they, okay, listen to me. Okay, Atikur Rahman, now listen to me. You're so concerned about institutionalism, about our great constitutional bodies. So I want to ask you, in JNU, certain bunch of students stood up and they opposed the hanging of Afzal Guru and they said it was a judicial execution. This was a phenomenally blunt attack on our courts. And it was done to undermine our faith in the letter of the law as interpreted by judges. And that too, the most senior justices. Now, where was the concern for institutionalism then? That was passed off as inquiry, philosophical, dialectics. That was passed off as dissidence. Tell me.
Rahul, time and again, people like me who are concerned with the liberties of the Constitution of India have said that people like Afzal Guru should have given a fair trial, wherein it is our belief that it was not a fair trial. Now, if you want to contest this claim, you contest it. You contest it by logical argument. I say is
the man got the benefit of several reviews. How can you say it wasn't a fair trial? Several reviews. Yaqub Memon, midnight knock. Supreme Court sat up till the whole night. Listen, there is no end. There is no end to paranoia. You can keep building the narrative that we are being wronged. That will then lead you to the path of even questioning the Supreme Court judgment on Ayodhya. That is what we will also do.
Have you stopped the problems of Kashmir after hanging of Afzal Guru? Tell me.
What is that got to do? What is that got to do? No, what is that got to do? Excuse me. What is that got to do with terrorism? What is that got to do with terrorism? We also fought a war. We also fought a war with Pakistan. Did that stop the export of terror? No, should we not have fought a war? No, should we not have fought a war with Pakistan? No, did fighting, 1 second, did fighting 2.5 wars, declared wars, or 3.5 wars with Pakistan stop terror? That doesn't mean we should, that doesn't mean that we, 1 second, that doesn't obviate the need to fight a war. What kind of logic is this? This is really bizarre logic. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, I need to move on. A quick word from you.
Please come in.
Yeah, quick word. I need to move on.
Yes, absolutely. Now, yes, very, very quickly to the other Abbas, who is a well-rounded personality, figuratively and literally. Abbas, you are a lawyer. Do you dispute the fact that both the Supreme Court and the Allahabad High Court have ruled that giving minority status to AMU is unconstitutional? Yes or no?
No, not so far, not established. Dr. Anand, check your facts.
Okay, gentlemen.
Okay. Now let me respond to the
I am
question is
talking
addressed to
from
me.
the position of facts.
Let me tell you.
Look, let me
Don't
tell
ever
you.
make the mistake that
70 AMU students.
Please,
You know, we are
respond to
lucky to have an individual like Abbas Hafiz on this panel, because he is clearly showing the way to certain students in AMU. In AMU, unlike Mr. Abbas Hafiz's view on Sharjeel Imam, 70 AMU students demanded the release and took out a rally in support of Sharjeel Imam.
Right. That's their democratic right.
Yeah, that's fine. That's their democratic rights, but they should apply them also with some degree of. They should exactly. They should apply them, sir, with some degree of uniformity. The democratic right of this young girl to speak out against the CAA also exists. But I didn't see a rally, and that's the point I'm trying to make constantly. I didn't see 70 AMU students walking out and saying this lady, this student has a right to speak.
The lockdown is going on.
Has a right to. It's been 4 days. Arey, you can come out. Don't make these silly excuses. You can have a socially distant struggle, sir. You can sit socially distanced from each other. You can sit 12 feet apart from each other.
And I'm 100% sure that there must be supporters from the other side as well.
You know, it didn't stop a large number of individuals during a period when we were supposed to be socially distanced from congregating also. Okay. So where there's a will, there is a way, and there's a way of finding a way. No, 1 second. You can be, listen to me. Listen, don't make these excuses. This is pettiness. Now, Mr. Abbas, you're being petty. You're hair splitting. You're just doing a disservice to yourself. You took an evolved position.
Has been thoroughly exposed.
Speak to some of your friends in AMU. Please speak to some of your friends. Tell them that human rights are not. No, 1 second. Human rights cannot be. Cannot be cherry-picked to suit an argument. Please, they apply to all humans. Everybody, whether they disagree or agree with you, is a human at the end of the day, and they have a right. And start. So this is exactly. We've come back to the point, viewers, that I wanted to establish.